Hey, this is Toby. So today I will show you the number one reason why you still lose money in algo trading in a live market, even though you have a profitable EA in the backtest. Now I will use the simulation here to explain the concept, and I will also show you the solution to this problem. In theory, the solution is pretty simple, but yeah, in practice, even I struggle with this sometimes. In the second half of the video, I will also show you a practical example here in the MetaTrader 5 tester. But first of all, it's very important that you understand the concept. You probably know this problem. You have a good looking backtest, maybe something like this, or even better. But as soon as you start trading the system in the live market, it falls apart and you basically lose money. Now the reason for this is most likely due to overoptimization. So you adapt your model too much to the historical data. And this is not just a problem with the MetaTrader 5 platform. This is a general problem. Doesn't matter if you use NinjaTrader, TradeStation, Multicharts, any other platform where you optimize your model to historical data. Okay, so let me quickly explain this simulator. I called it the curve fitting simulator. I will put the link on my website so you can try it out for free and play around a little bit. I would recommend that you try this on your own to understand the concept. So first of all, here in the top left corner, we have our backtesting data, the blue dots. Next chart here is our test data, the pink dots. So this is basically the live market. And here on the left, this is our historical data. And with the slider here, we can basically change how similar or random the live market data is to the backtesting data. So right now it's, I would say, at 90% here, which means it's pretty close to the backtesting data. You can see this. Maybe I decrease this a little bit. So it's basically the same, but there's a little bit of a difference to simulate live market behavior because the data is never exactly the same. Of course, if I put this all the way to the right, it's exactly the same. But let's keep this here at 90%. Okay, and the green line is our trading system. This is our model, and it's the same here in the backtesting window and in the live market window. Now here on the right side, we can configure our model. We can set how many parameters our model should have. So right now we have one parameter, and I can play around a little bit. You can see our model is changing. There's also this auto fit button, which fits the model perfectly or as best as possible to the historical data. And if I increase the number of parameters, we can see here the equation is down below. The model gets more complex, and we can try to fit our model to the historical data. Of course, with more parameters, it's easier to fit the model to the historical data. So you see how good the model fits the historical data here with this number. You also see the number here, 2.2. If I increase the number of parameters, and this could be, for example, a stop loss, a take profit, a moving average filter period, and auto fit the model, we can see the training error goes down. Increase it even more. So now we have 1.4. Okay. Now here in the bottom left corner, we can just see all the variants of the different model sizes. So right now we have 8 parameters, but we see at the same time what the error would be for a model with 10 parameters, for example here. So this is, yeah, I would say maybe 10 or something. If I increase this now to 10 here, auto fit the model, we can see, yeah, it's 9.5. So this is the test error number. This is how good our model predicts the future, basically. But let's continue here with the charts. So also here in this bottom left chart, you see the best number of parameters to predict the future. Right now it's 1. So this is the green dot. This is basically the lowest point of this pink curve here. So the error, test error is the lowest at 1 parameter. Next chart here just shows the stability basically. So this just plots always the lowest value for the test and training error. I can show you this when I click the auto mode again. You can see it always uses the lowest, the green dot basically here, to plot the values here in the chart. Okay, and on the bottom right, we just see an overlay of the last 10 curves here of this chart. Okay, and down below here, we just see the training error and the test error. And this is of our current model size. Okay, now let's say we are a algo trader and we have a trading system and we use one of these optimizers in the MetaTrader 5 platform, the strategy tester, or any other trading platform, and we optimize our model to get a great looking backtest. So now what we do, let's stop this auto mode here. We start out with a pretty simple trading system here, 1 parameter, or maybe we probably start with already like 3 parameters for stop loss. We have already a take profit and maybe a moving average filter or a time-based entry for the range or something. And yeah, could be also like day of week filter, anything basically. So now we see, okay, we have this model. The backtest is okay. We have 2.4. And what we are now trying to do is to get a better backtest. And that's a very big and easy trap to fall into. And you can see the blue line here in the bottom left chart. It has a slope. And most traders, they go down the slope because they noticed, okay, if I add another parameter, let's do this. So let's say I see the model does not trade well on Mondays. So I'll just eliminate Monday. So now I have more parameters. I have a lower error for the training set, so a better backtest. And now I notice, okay, if I add another filter, so let's say, yeah, I add a moving average filter. So I only trade if the price is above the moving average. So I add another parameter here. I get an even better backtest. That's great. But yeah, you see where this is going. So while we get a better backtest, because we go down the slope here, the error rate for the live market increases. So it's worse. And most traders, they just go down this path and then they have a great looking backtest. maybe something like this here. Yeah, or even better, like a straight line. And they think this will continue like this in the future. But with this simulator, you see pretty clearly that if you use more parameters for your model, as the model gets more complex here, you get a better backtest, but a worse performance in the live data. You also see this here, where we plot the last 10 curves. In general, at the end, like models with more parameters have worse live market results. And the blue line goes down. So you get a better backtest with more parameters. So that's the dangerous part. The backtest is looking better and better, but the live market performance later will be worse. And yeah, I can just maybe start this again so you can watch it a little bit. And it's almost always the same. Like the slope here for the backtest. And then there's a sweet spot for the live market data somewhere here in the beginning. And in the end, the arrow increases. Yeah, that's all I want to show you here with this simulator. I think it's pretty nice, and it shows that, yeah, if you use more and more parameters, your live market performance will be worse and worse. But of course, the backtest looks great, and that's why it's so dangerous. You just add another parameter, another rule, and you get a better and better backtest. Okay, so that's all I want to show you here with the simulator. I would really recommend that you try this on your own and you really see that, yeah, more parameters often means worse performance in the live market. Okay, but now I will also show you a practical example in the MetaTrader 5 platform. And you can do this also in Linear Trader or any other platform. Doesn't really matter. I just want to show you this overoptimization here in the strategy tester. I will use a simple range breakout system to demonstrate the overoptimization problem on US dollar Japanese yen starting in 2020. I loaded the inputs here, and if I press start, I get this backtest performance. Now what we are going to do is to divide this data in half. There's an option here, forward, I would just say 50% basically. And now we can run a optimization to get a better backtest. And then we see on the second half of the data the result of the backtest with out of sample data basically. So for the inputs, what we can optimize, we need to switch this to slow complete algorithm. I will use my custom max criteria, but it doesn't really matter. So we can optimize the stop loss here. We can optimize maybe the time settings for the start and duration of the range. Then we can also optimize the time exit here, and we can also optimize maybe the day of week filter. So we just set this to true and false for each day. We have a lot of combinations. Maybe we can also optimize the moving average filter. We have that here. So the period of the moving average filter, let's say we go from 10 to 50. I just want to make sure that I have the walk forward test set to false. Yeah. Okay, and we use the Opti Pro. Now the custom criteria is not important, but just to show you this. And now I will go to fast because we have so many combinations. And I will just click start. And once the optimization is done, we will take a look at this table here. Okay, so now the optimization is done. And we see the forward results here. We see the backtest results. And now let's filter here and take a look at the best backtest results. And we can see immediately that the forward results are not that great. So let's maybe take a look at the best backtest here. We see the graph looks pretty nice, pretty straight line, nearly no drawdown. And then we see the live result here, which is just basically going sideways. We can take a look at another result here. Less trades, nearly perfect equity in the backtest. And here we start with out of sample data, and we can see we lose money in the live market. You can also see the metrics here. So the backtest, pretty nice, profit factor 2.5. And the forward test is losing money. Let's take a look at another example, maybe with more trades. 400 trades. This one here was a pretty good backtest, bad performance in the live market. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear that if you use too many parameters, you get a better backtest, but the out of sample performance or the live market performance later is bad and you lose money. So to avoid this, I mean, it's pretty simple to just use less parameters for your model. But I know, of course, it's pretty difficult to do this actually, because you have this slope here where with more parameters you get a better backtest, and it feels better to have a good looking backtest going into live trading instead of a backtest with higher drawdown, for example. So I hope this video was helpful. I have more videos like this coming up in the future, so subscribe if you don't want to miss that. I will put the link for the simulator on my website in the YouTube section. Also, the Master EA is now available on my website. And yeah, you can go check it out, read more about my trading system and how you can use it. If you have a question, write a comment and I will see you in one of the next videos. Bye bye.